Hi, my name's Amira. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a review on the Huda Beauty Textured Rose Gold Palette. So Huda Beauty has released a limited edition textured shadows palette in the Rose Gold edition. So I'm sure in the future we will be seeing more palettes in different themes. So this one is Rose Gold. I'm sure we'll see like a bronze and a cool tone or whatever it is, but yeah, just the fact that it's kind of named like that leads me to believe hopefully we'll see more in the future. So just for anyone wondering, I have a Facebook live stream of my first impressions with this, so I will link that video down below because you can still watch it and you can kind of see my first impressions. It's a long one, but I did my eyes first, so if you just want to watch, you know, how it goes with the eyeshadows first, you can just watch like the first part of the video. So I ordered this palette off of Cult Beauty and it was in pounds. So you had to spend a certain amount to be able to get the free shipping. So obviously, since I was slightly under, I bought some lashes. So I bought the Huda Beauty lashes, the Sasha lashes. So they're what I'm wearing now. I'm still a bit unsure on them. They're very, I feel like they're quite expensive for what they are. I think there's, you know, some good options that aren't quite as pricey and a little bit more comfortable as well with like a slightly softer band. Like I do struggle to kind of stick these down the whole way. So for the palette and the lashes, it converted to about 80 or 90 Australian dollars. And yes, it came pretty quickly off of Cult Beauty, maybe 2 weeks. So that was all good. I'm also wearing it today. I used a mixture of different shades versus the ones in my live stream. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm kind of preferring this look as opposed to the one that I did in that live stream for the first impressions. So we'll get into that now. This palette has 18 shades. You've got all of your textured shades and some shimmery shades and then a bunch of matte shades. It's like a nice balance in the palette of all of the shades. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of the textured shadows. Now let's just take rose gold because let's be real, everyone wants rose gold and I don't even know if you'll even see this, but there's a huge dip in the palette and it just like crumbles out when you kind of try and swatch the colors. So you can see on my finger it applies nicely, but then if we just kind of swatch it, I think we need to get up nice and close so you can see this. See, it's lifting up on my arm and it's very, very patchy. And then if we try and blend it, it just kind of, it's just sitting up on the skin. It doesn't sit into the skin. So that's the problem I'm having with the textured shadows. And they say to use them with your fingers, not with brushes. So I did struggle. I've just had my nails redone and they're shorter. In the live stream, they were a lot longer. So I did kind of struggle to get it to apply really nice and evenly. So I'm not the biggest fan of those shadows, specifically 24K, Rose Gold, and Trust Fund. The other ones aren't quite as bad, but I noticed those shades in particular, you can even see just sitting in the pan, they just look very textury. You can see, and they just don't blend very well at all. So I'm very disappointed in them. I mean, like, if you can get them to work, they're gorgeous. I just find them so hard to get to work. You just layer, layer, layer. And when I've used these shades, they kind of like, when I wash my face, they like crumble and they go in my eyes. And then even the next day, my eyes are like a bit irritated. But there are some positives. Let's just take Angelic. This shade is amazing. I love this shade. It is just incredible. It's just this kind of like pink and gold duochrome kind of sheen. It's amazing. And then we've got Moon Dust. This one's like much, much better. It's kind of like, yeah, a white and gold shift to it. Incredible. And then let's take Dubai, which is a khaki. You can see it's incredibly pigmented, and let's just swatch it here. You don't really have the same problem as you do with those other 3 textured shadows I mentioned. I think this formula might be slightly different. So this palette has the deep matte, 3D metal and pressed pearls. So I feel like this one's a bit more of the pressed pearl as opposed to the textured kind of shadow. So that's why I think they work better. I mean, even Fling is just like, let's just swatch this everywhere. Like, hello pigment, hello. Like, they just apply so much better. I really, really dislike the 3 textured shades in there. This is Blessed. Like, these are incredible. These are just amazing. But then, yeah, just the textured shades. And I mean, it's called the textured palette, so you want those textures to be lovely, but they're just like, ugh. All right, here's the 24K. And see, it looks gorgeous there, but up close, it's not even sticking to my skin. Like, it just crumbles off. And then you can't get it to sit into the skin. I mean, 24K is a little bit better, but rose gold, the one that the palette is named after, doesn't work. And Trust Fund is pretty similar, so I'm really, really disappointed in those. But the mattes blend beautifully through my crease, through my outer corner, underneath my lash line. Those are really, really good. So the good news is this palette is now going to be stocked at Sephora, which means that if you have a Sephora near you, you're going to be able to go in and actually test it out and see what I mean and see how it works for you. I mean, you never know, maybe I got a dud palette and those textured shades just didn't sit properly. But even from when I first opened, I could see like that it wasn't sitting nicely in the pan, just for those shades. Just such a shame because they're just so gorgeous. And I mean, I might be able to get them to work, but so far just using them normally with my finger, with a brush, they just haven't been really working. Even swatching them just on my arm. So that's, yeah, that's a bit of a downfall of this palette. If you take away those 3 shadows from this palette, it's pretty good value. And I mean, everyone kind of looks at this palette and I felt like when I saw it first, that pink really stood out and I was like, oh god. But if you watch my live stream, I actually used the pink and it didn't even look pink. It just looked, you know, gorgeous. If you just blend it lightly through the crease, just to kind of buff out like that man-eater shade and stuff, like it's just beautiful. And this angelic shade just sells me the palette. It sells it to me. It's what I have on my eyelids today. Let's pop a bit more. So pretty, so pretty. Like it's just gorgeous. I can't wait to wear it when I dye my hair pink again. It's just gonna look so pretty because it's like the same kind of color as the pink in my hair and they're just gonna look gorgeous together. If you had something like the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette and the Makeup by Mario palette, you're going to get dupes for most of the shades in this palette. So, I mean, if you open up the Modern Renaissance palette, you can already kind of see, just holding them next to each other, that there's a lot of kind of dupeable shades for like all the matte ones, and even kind of that moon dust shadow is very similar to like the 2 light shimmery shadows in this palette. So I feel like that has, you know, lots of very dupeable shades. I mean, it doesn't have the black, but that's very, very good. And then even if, yeah, the Makeup by Mario palette, you know, you've kind of got that khaki shade in it as well. And again, like some nice warm mattes. The only thing is they don't really have any nice kind of rose gold shimmery shades like those ones up the top. But all the other shadows that I said I really like in this palette are dupeable. So yes, that is the thing. I don't really have any dupes for those really textured shadows, but I've heard that the Makeup Geek ones are really, really good. So if we just go through the palette one last time, you've got your Dubai and Fling, the khaki and the maroon shimmery shades, absolutely gorgeous, apply really well. You've got your 3 textures, the 24K, Rose Gold and Trust Fund, which for me don't personally apply well in the palette themselves. They look a mess, they're dipping, they just, I don't know, I can't see those shades doing that well, at least for me. Then you've got your Angelic shade, which I absolutely adore, this pink shimmery duochrome with the gold, absolutely gorgeous. Blessed, which is your beautiful bronze shade. Then we've got most of our mattes, so you've got Bossy, Flamingo, Shy and Bay. So those are just really nice matte shades. Then we go back into Moon Dust, which is our white and kind of gold duochrome shimmery gorgeousness. All mattes, you've got Black Truffle, Suede, Cocoa, Man-Eater, Henna and Sandalwood. So these shades, I mean, that row itself could even just make a gorgeous matte, all matte eye, which would be beautiful. So I mean, these shades are just, they're really lovely shades. If you look at the palette, it does make me happy to look at. And I'm sure if I try hard enough, I can probably get those textures to work. At the moment, I just haven't really been able to. But if I play around with it more, maybe I will be able to. But at this moment, I have to say that those 3 let this palette down. just because, you know, most people don't really want to work for a palette, they just want it to kind of work already. I think maybe watch some more reviews on it as well, see if anyone else has any different opinions on it, because as I said, it could just be my skin, my eyelids, the fact that I don't have an eye primer on, even though when I tried it on my hand it was pretty average, but whatever. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this. If you liked my review, if you found it at all helpful, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.